Well, hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday. Before I even tell you the subject of the show, I need you to go ahead and share the show because it's going to be a great one. Okay. This evening, we're doing the Ultimate Wellness Group Testimonial Transformation Tuesday, where we will have people that have had some issues or had some concerns or have some medically diagnosed problems that started a program based in that beautiful book that you see right in front of you and had a lot of success with improving what they were suffering with or what they were dealing with. Okay. So today is a wonderful show. Please share the show. Please send it to anybody that you know who may be dealing with maybe just something that they're concerned with, or somebody that has recently been diagnosed, or somebody that's struggling with overcoming some type of problem, some type of hurdle that they're trying to overcome. Because tonight is especially for you, to give you some hope, to give you the mind state to be sure that you can make improvements and that you can overcome a lot and that you can get back to a place where you're comfortable. So in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness Muhammad is his messenger. I further bear witness that Allah came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and he taught one from among us for 3 years and a third of a year, day and night. And from that teaching came this book, How to Eat to Live. And I should say these books, How to Eat to Live 1 and 2, that took this man that you're listening to after years of practicing medicine, after years of studying the body, after years of studying medicine and being good at what he did. Those 2 books revolutionized what I did and took me from a place of feeling inadequate to a place as today where you will hear the confidence in that I don't believe there's anything that can be presented to me that I won't have confidence that we can make some type of progress. Not pills, not surgeries, not supplements, not something that a man makes, but going back to learning the right foods, how to prepare them, and giving yourself the type of rest that causes your body to be at its optimal state. So please stay tuned. And again, share the show, because those 2 didn't leave us. Those 2 taught a man and they back a man who gave a monumental speech this Saturday, July 4th, the criteria. So How to Eat to Live is my criteria for how I practice medicine these days. But the criteria for the whole world and the righteousness that's going to overtake this world came from none other than a man who is in our midst, giving us guidance in a time of trouble, giving us guidance so that we can have plenty confidence that we will make it out of this. And even if we don't, we're going to be producing a new reality for a new generation. And I'm speaking none other than Minister Louis Farrakhan. And their names, I greet you in the words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Again, I thank you very much for taking some of your Tuesday when you could be doing anything else, but you decided to come here and spend a little time with us. So let's get a few shout outs and then we're going to get directly into the show. Okay. Who we got tonight? Maxine Bland, regular. Dora Muhammad, San Muhammad Natural Medicines, Saran Anderson, X Anderson, Khalila Muhammad, Kimberly Harris, The Light Bear, James Williams, T. Farrell, Jamil Muhammad, regular soldiers that continue to come back and continue to support. I appreciate y'all. So we're going to get right in the show. David X. Jones, assalamu alaikum to all of you. So the first thing that I want to discuss with you all tonight is just a few points that I missed from last week's show on the coronavirus, and then a couple of things that I've seen in the media this week about the coronavirus. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on that, and we're going to go directly into the Testimonial Tuesday. Okay, so first thing that I forgot to mention last week is there are a lot of articles out right now that are talking about whether or not the coronavirus is going to be spread by droplets or will it be spread by aerosolized. To a certain degree, those both mean the same thing. As I've said before, if you're sitting and you're talking to somebody, you're not sitting that far away from them. Most of us have had the experience where you see spit come and land on you. So that is how a virus is transmitted. That same way. If that spit touches your nose, or that spit is on your mouth, or your spit is on your hand or somewhere on your body, and you do like this, now you've gotten that virus into your body because of that droplet that it got on you. But also when you cough and you spit and you sneeze, there's some in the air that you can't see, and that is aerosolized. So what they're saying is there's potential that just could be sprayed in the air, or maybe dropped with the chemtrails, and people are going to catch that. And so again, I'm suggesting that everybody don't get alarmed. Don't get yourself in fervor about this. Boost your immune system. The things I suggested last week, the things that I've suggested on my shows, are the things that you can do on an everyday basis that boost your immune system. And why am I saying that? Because if your immune system is boosted, you shouldn't be worried too much about them putting it in the air or dropping it out of a chemtrail. Why? Because the wind patterns are going to blow it, and they're going to spread it. So it can't be in a droplet like a virus coming in this area. I'm sorry, the virus in a droplet coming in this area. If it's in the air, aerosolized, that means they're sending it out so that it can blow and go in certain areas, and the wind is going to spread that out. So the few viral particles that you may get in your body, your system is strong enough to kill that, so you won't have to worry about it. So let's keep our minds concentrated on the positive. Keep our minds concentrated on the things that we can do, right? Because this is a place that you come for news that you can use. And that's some news that you can use, keep your immune system strong, and it decreases your worry. So the next one is, some people have asked me, well, you talk a lot about preventing it. What would I do if I get sick? The same thing. Just you have to do the things that strengthen your immune system. So all of those suggestions. And then I would add, if you are sick and you are an adult, I would suggest you take long periods of time in between eating and do the immune boosting tea that's on both channels, right? YouTube and Facebook, and it's on my Instagram. So try that. And then when you have eaten good food, when you have done things to boost your immune system, and you do that tea and you fast, your body is probably going to overcome that very quickly if you're in a good, healthy state. Okay. I'm not just talking about any person with any type of medical problems, right? Because the worse your health is, the more number of medical problems you have, and the worse condition you're in, the more likely you are going to get sick. Now, the other thing that I wanted to discuss quickly is, as a lot of us have seen, they are opening back up these airlines, and it seems as if they're going back to a normalcy with airline travel. So my suggestion to all of you is, we have to understand that when you get on a plane, the air is recirculated air. That air is not coming from outside. They are recirculating the air from breathing and, people doing whatever they're doing on that plane. And so not only, as I have said before, if I'm going to get on a plane, I'm going to fast probably 1 or 2 days before I get on there. I'm going to drink my immune boosting tea before I get on there. And the likelihood, because, I've seen a couple of friends of mine post, and they're sitting here and the next person is sitting 4, 5, 6 seats back, or sometimes you can't even see a person. They're so far back. But that person, if they are infected and if they are sick at that time, that recirculated air still could potentially reach you. Yes, there are probably some filters in that recirculated air, but I wouldn't trust it. How many people have you known that have flown or traveled by airplane, and when they go from one place to another, they're sick? That's happened multiple times. Many people. So don't get on an airplane and think that you're safe because you got away from some people and only a few of you on a plane. If I was you and you don't have confidence in your immune system, I would put your mask on while you're on the plane as well. Just a suggestion. And then lastly, I need to make some clarifications, because I have had quite a few people reach out to me about this interferon. Some people are calling it medicine. Some people call it treatment. Some people call it whatever. I want to make sure that nobody associates me with the wrong reality. Okay. Brother Dr. Akili Muhammad is a distributor of Immuno Boost 100. It's also called IB 100. It is an immune boosting supplement. If you have any desire to understand more about it, you can go to my program that I did on lung, and I talked about that supplement with Victor Muhammad. We went in depth. We talked about it, and we talked about what the difference is in Immunoboost 100 versus other products. So I'm not going to go in depth about any other product. I'm just going to say one thing. I am not affiliated with Paximune. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've had a couple of people call me and ask me. So if you hear anybody mention my name when it comes to Paximune, that person is not telling the truth. They're a liar because they didn't contact me and talk to me about that. I'm not affiliated with that at all. I am only affiliated with Immunoboost 100. And if you're interested in that, if you don't have confidence in your immune system, if you don't have confidence that you're going to make it through these times that we're living in, you might want to reach out and get some of that. Every person that I've had in high risk situations so far, after they've been taking it, they haven't had any problems. They haven't had the infection. They did not get infected. I'm not trying to say that the supplement is going to guarantee you anything. That's not my point. I'm just saying that I have seen some successes with it. I have seen one of my patients go from HIV positive to seronegative on his tests. And, God say the same. I'll be able to show that to you all soon on a Testimony Tuesday. But I just wanted to clarify, if you have more information, go to that lung program at minute 38. That's when we start discussing it. At minute 52, we discussed the difference in Immunoboost 100 and the other products that are out there. So that's the end of what I'm going to say about it. I will add this, though. I don't know anybody that has ever said to me in my practice of medicine that I treated them as if they were a money bag. I haven't had nobody complain to me that I treated them as if money was more important to them. And I have had a lot of people call me just within the last few days and express to me how much they trust me and how much they trust me because of my track record, because I don't have a track record of putting money before anybody. I've been practicing medicine 25 years, and this is the first product I have ever in 25 years of practicing medicine, the first product I have ever used, because I don't trust most things out there. And so if you hear Brother Dr. Akili Muhammad saying that he has a product, then that means he has researched, he's done his due diligence, and not after just that, but after getting samples of the product and trying it in people. And that's when I became 100% sure that I had a good product and I'm backing a good product, is when I had that patient seroconvert after 6 months. So that's all I will say. I have confidence in the product that I am using, the product that I am a distributor for. So again, my information, I'll put it up right now. If you all are interested, let me know. But I had to do that because I don't want anybody affiliating my name with anything that I didn't co-sign. So if you hear anybody doing that, please send them to me or let me know so that I can deal with it. So thank you all for allowing me to open up that way. So let's get to the show. Let me give a few more shout outs and we're going to get into the show. Troy X, thank you for coming in. Othel Muhammad, Sagir Hassan, Kennard Young, Deborah Muhammad, BJ Shelby, Ishay Muhammad, Ramana Vanik Muhammad, Gail Richardson, Tyrone Muhammad, I don't know if I said your name, Darlene Paisley, Damon Washington, Danny Muhammad says Immune Boost T is the same as the Immune Boost, Brother Victor, who was on the show recently. No, those are two different things I'm talking about. So the Immunoboost 100 is the product that you use to help boost your immune system. The immune boosting tea is a ginger turmeric tea that you make, and I put my video of how to make that on my sites. Okay, so that's two different things I was talking about. I think that's what you're asking there, Brother Danny. Tammy Wingate, peace and blessings. My brother, official MNIB. He says, you were the first one I thought of, Doc, when the minister called on our doctors, scientists, and epidemiologists to get together. Subject of vaccines. Absolutely, bro. You know, we're already working on it. And to be honest with you all, expect a show very quickly where we're going to come and talk about vaccines, explain more about vaccines, answer your questions about vaccines, and then talk about the reality of a vaccine if we decide to go in that direction. And I shouldn't say if, I should say we'll talk about what the pros and cons of that whole concept is. Okay. So thank you, my brother, for always supporting, always coming and asking good questions and always supporting. Danny Muhammad said, you answered a question earlier. How can we get immunology boost? So there's my information scrolling at the bottom. If anybody is interested, give me a call or a text or send me an email and we can answer your question specifically. But if you have, and I'm talking about questions about getting it, but if you have any questions about what it is, how it works, and what it is in comparison to other products, please go to the lung episode. And again, go to minute 38, where we begin talking about it, and then minute 52, where we talk about how it's compared to other things. Damon Johnson, no, you didn't miss much, bro. You about to get the treat coming up in just a minute. Stoel Roos Tassant Fulton. Yeah, I think I just answered that question. All right, so let's get into the show. We're going to go directly into one of the guests that came here to give you all some news that you can use. So let's go right into my brother, Cliff Muhammad. How are you doing, my brother?
Peace. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, my brother. So
thank you.
Tell us a little about yourself and how me and you got connected, my brother.
Okay. My name is Cliff. A lot of people call me Coach Cliff. I'm a chess instructor by trade. Our after-school chess program goes into the schools all across the city and set up after-school chess programs, get students involved with tournament competition play. We travel and also expose them to chess scholarships. So that's what I do in a nutshell. I met Dr. Keeley probably about 20 years ago. I went into a clinic for a checkup, and he was there, and I initially, I gravitated to a lot of his concepts. Number one, because I had never seen a young Black doctor, and so I was really like, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I'm getting information. And one thing that has stood out, in 20 years, I've never been prescribed anything. I've never been prescribed anything by Dr. Keeley. So every complaint, every ailment always starts with, what have you been eating? And then we go from there. So that's that in a nutshell.
Yeah, that was a wonderful thing. I remember when we met, bro. It was pretty amazing because my brother was really, I would say, kind of in a fervor because he had been told some things by some other people, and he had been told this may help and that may help. And when he came in and sat down and we had a good conversation, he was satisfied. A lot of people get upset when they go to a doctor and have expectations and they don't get what they want. But he was satisfied because we sat and we talked, and I gave him the time that he deserved to answer his questions, to make sure that he understood where I was coming from. And that's kind of, kind of the reason that I do that is because I know that is more empowering than just rushing somebody out of the clinic. And so, bro, we talked a few years ago. One of your children was having some difficulty, and then you reached out to me, as you always do. You've been consistent supporter through all those years. Everything that I ever do and ever have done, you've supported me, and you reached out to me. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with your young man. Okay, so
we have, my wife and I have 5 boys. All of them were born by midwife, and so what we have done is they'll be born, and then Dr. Key come over and check them out. So in 2011, our fourth child was born. And he was heavier than all the other children. He was about 9 pounds when he was born. So we didn't think, we just thought, man, this is a big, healthy baby. So fast forward to about a year, that very next year, right after he turned 1, we kind of noticed that he hadn't started walking. We wasn't too alarmed because we know that babies learn to walk on their own time. But just that the other children were walking around 1 or right before they turned 1, it kind of put it on the radar. Another thing that we would notice is that he would like to be carried a lot. Every time we tried to put him down or we tried to stand him up in the walker, he would cry and scream. And we were like, man, he just wants to be held. So, we would just kind of hold him. So fast forward, I come home one day from work and he's in a playpen, and I noticed that his hand is really swollen. And our first thought was maybe he got bit by something, spider or something like that. And so the swelling kept increasing. So we took him to the emergency room, and what they ended up finding out with the swelling was that he had an allergic reaction to like Advil. I think my wife was taking Advil, but she was still nursing it. So that's what ended up happening with the swelling. But during that process, they x-rayed his hands, and the doctor came back, and it was a young Black doctor in the ER. And she said that his bones were the smallest and the frailest bones that she's ever seen. And that kind of shocked us because, again, he was like 9 pounds when he was born, and he just was like a chunky baby. Mm-hmm. And so initially I thought it was a mistake. And she said, well, no, I checked both of his hands, and his bones are really frail and really, really small. And so we're going to diagnose him with rickets. And I had never heard of rickets at that time. So he ended up getting admitted because they did some blood work, and his vitamin D level was, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was just about non-existent from what they told us. So I called Dr. Keeley from our hospital room, and I'm telling Dr. Keeley what they're telling us. And I think I may have given him some of the numbers that they had given us. And so the first thing he said was, he was like, bro, they're gonna put you on some vitamin D, but don't take it because it's most of it is chemicals and most of it is this other stuff, and it's very little vitamin D that's actually in what they're going to try to give you, and right. The other stuff could potentially hurt them more than it can help them. And so my wife and I was like, okay, well, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to give them the vitamin D. So sure enough, they came in and they had the vitamin D. We read it. It was exactly what Dr. Keeley said it was going to be in it, a bunch of other junk. And so we declined to use it at that time. And then they still prescribed it for us, but we never got it filled. So Dr. Keeley said, he asked, is your wife still nursing him? I said, well, yes, she's still nursing him. He was 13 months old, I think, at the time. He said, well, go ahead and put him on the raw milk. And so, and he said, make sure he's starting to get some sunlight, like more sunlight than you like purposely get him sunlight, and do that with the raw milk. And so we said, okay, that's what we'll do. So we started getting him raw milk. I noticed that he was really calling for it. Like he would drink it, but then he was like really like asking for the milk. He couldn't even talk, but he would be like, reaching for that milk. And so that became like his primary, besides water, that's all we gave him, liquid wise. And then I want to say the hospital said that they wanted to test him 2 or 3 months later to see right. See the results of his vitamin D numbers. And so I want to say 2 months later, my wife took him back in. I was at work, and I told her, I said, call me no matter what, because they were saying that if his numbers were not up, then it could possibly be something else that is just far more rare or whatever. And so she called and she said, hey, the doctor said, whatever we're doing, like we could slow it down because his numbers have exceeded, his vitamin D numbers have exceeded what they've expected. and they were like, they're almost too high. And so, and right around that time, he started taking his first couple of steps. So maybe like 2 months after we started doing the vitamin D, doing the raw milk, in the sunlight, he started taking his steps and walking. And now he's, we haven't had any problems after that, not at all. So I'm truly thankful, that we have access to a brother that's going to give us the truth. That's invaluable. So, when I say I called from the hospital room, I call from the hospital room, because it's like, this is what you're telling us, and this is, I need to get another set of eyes, another set of ears on this before we move forward. So,
well, thank you, bro. I appreciate that testimony, bro. Yes, sir. And I want everybody to understand, today is not about Brother Dr. Akili. Today is about empowering those who are ill, empowering those who may have sick children, empowering those who may be frustrated with a medical system, to just hear a few cases. That's all I wanted to do. This is not about patting me on the back. I appreciate the accolades. I appreciate people having confidence in me. But most of this is so that we can say, thank you, Allah. Thank you, God. Thank you for giving us the ability to heal these bodies. And it's not going to happen with pills. It's not going to happen with going to traditional doctors. It's just not. And so that's what today is about. I know there's one question here, bro, where somebody asked, do you vaccinate your children? You want to answer that for us?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I said, all of our children were born by midwife. Our oldest is 18 and our youngest is 6. And so we don't do vaccinations.
Praise God, we serve. All right, Brother Cliff, well, I sure appreciate you, man. You were the first and one to let it off today. I appreciate you coming and taking some of your time, brother, and give us a little testimony about your son, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Everybody, we say hello.
Will do. Peace.
Peace. All right, y'all. So I thought that was a wonderful one to start with, and I want to show you all something really quickly. Again, this is not to put anybody down. This is just to talk about how you have to be, as I always say, in control. So if you all look at this closely, over to the left, you see it says note to patient in yellow. And then if you look to the box right next to that, you see your vitamin D, testosterone, and that should be thyroid right there. Thyroid hormone are low. Please keep follow-up appointment. Now, this is somebody, of course, that trusted me with their stuff, and I started looking through it, and I'm looking at everything, and okay, boom, yeah, vitamin D, that's low. And then I go down and I see the thyroid, all that's normal. And then I go down and I see testosterone, and that's normal. So all of her blood work was perfect. Everything looked just good. Everything was within the normal range except vitamin D. So, as I was having a discussion with her, I went back up and I said, I wonder why they would put that. And that's a good question. Why did they put that? Was it a mistake? Or was somebody trying to do something a little sneaky? Was somebody trying to get away with something? Was somebody trying to pad the medical record, which happens often? People will spend 5 minutes with you, but when it was time to build an insurance company, they put 30 minutes. People spend 15 minutes with you, and when they send it off to the insurance company, they put an hour. Or sometimes add diagnoses to your chart so that they can get more money. Say a few things to you. You don't know what's going on. You're not going to see the chart. So let's be very careful. It's not only careful, like Brother Cliff said, when doctors come and they start saying things to you. That's what this show is for. Empower you so that you know certain things and you can't be tricked and you can't be fooled. But this is just an example. I want you all to be careful. We cannot trust this medical system. And unfortunately, even when people look like you sometimes, same skin color, same ethnic group, whatever your ethnic group or color is, or race, you can't always trust them. You have to have some information and you have to have some confidence to stay in control and don't let anybody just tell you anything. Okay. So that's why I'm sharing that, because I want you all to be empowered. And so let's move on to our next our next, this is going to be a special one here, y'all. So my sister, how are you doing, my sister? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Praise be to you. Walaikum salam. How you doing?
I am well.
I'm going to go ahead and bring that princess in right now. Can I go ahead and do that?
Well,
I see that big old smile on her face. How you doing, my sister?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. How you doing?
Good.
I'm doing wonderful. So it's wonderful to have you all on the show. I'm glad we can redo it because last time we had a lot of issues, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
There's that smile I was looking for.
Hey, sweetie.
So, Sister, you want to go ahead and tell us about why you reached out to me?
Myself, yes. Okay, so this is my daughter, Kamaria. She'll be 16 in a couple of weeks. I met Dr. Achilles some years ago as well, and we've kept in touch. I've always respected his approach to medicine. And in January of 2018, well, our journey actually began around November of 2017. My daughter started experiencing some symptoms, right? Headaches, complaining about the occasional headaches, and some extreme anxiety. And we ended up going to the emergency room because she had an anxiety attack. And in that experience at the emergency room, we were, talking to them about her headaches and giving them a list of symptoms. But for whatever reason in particular, the doctors in the emergency room honed in on her having some abdominal pain. And at the time, she was about to start her moon cycle, so that wasn't strange to me at all. But the doctors in the emergency room completely ignored all of the other symptoms, and they honed in on her abdominal pain. And ultimately, what they wanted to do was to do an exploratory surgery. And my husband and I were completely adamant, like, no, we're not doing that. We've been here for 12 hours. There's no need for y'all to keep her overnight and do an exploratory surgery.
Right.
And all praises due to Allah, we stood firm, although we ended up, as a result, against doctor's orders, removing her from the emergency room. It actually turned into a whole ordeal. They called security and everything.
Wow.
Because we refused to allow them to do exploratory surgery on my daughter. And as a result of that, me taking that particular stance, we ended up with a case with CPS for what they call medical neglect. That's right. So the reason why I'm mentioning this, because we're talking about our children, we're talking about our understanding of what health is and what healthcare should be.
That's right.
And so any parents or anyone that's watching, I want to encourage you to be steadfast in what it is that you believe, because this system of medical care, they have their own agenda. That's and right. If you believe differently, you have to be willing to stand on that. And sometimes there are consequences. So right now I am listed in a database as someone who has committed medical neglect for refusing to allow the Children's Hospital to experiment on my daughter.
Because you have care and concern for your daughter. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, but that's okay, because in the end, and that was in November of 2017. So she still persisted after then to have symptoms of headache, and those symptoms progressed to her experiencing some vision problems. Initially, her peripheral vision was going out. She would have black spots in her vision, and it progressed to her literally not being able to see almost at all. And we went back to the emergency room. Well, I made an appointment with her pediatrician. And upon visiting her pediatrician, the pediatrician looked into her eyes and immediately said, "You need to take her to the emergency room right now." She wrote a note. She said, give this to the registration booth when you get there. And I did exactly what she said. And in January of 2018, my daughter was diagnosed with intracranial hypertension and a pituitary adenoma. And so basically what that is, she had a mass on her pituitary gland that caused the pressure in her brain to build up with excessive fluid. And as a result of that, it was compressing her, Brother Keely, what is it called?
Her pituitary, an adenoma on her pituitary gland?
Yes, but it was compressing her
Or her optic nerve.
Her optic nerves. Yes, so that's why she was experiencing some temporary blindness.
So just real quickly for you all that can see this picture here, this little bean-shaped organ would be the pituitary gland. That is what we call an adenoma, which is on the pituitary pushing up against it. And that yellow thing right there is the nerve that takes the things that we see and takes it to the back of the brain. That's the optic nerve. So that's what this was big enough to push all the way against that right there. So go ahead, my sister.
Yes. So she was diagnosed in February of 2018, and she had a 4-day stay in the hospital. She had to get a spinal tap to remove the excess fluid. And once they did that and read the pressure, her pressure was twice as high in her cranial as it was as a normal person. So we were really blessed to have a holistic pediatrician who really made the right decision in sending us to the emergency room. After that procedure, her eyesight started to come back a little bit at a time. However, she still suffered from the extreme headaches. And so the protocol that we were given by the neurosurgeon was that there was no cure. There was a medication regimen that she could take, that she could have to take for a year or two up to the rest of her life in order to maintain the intracranial pressure. And what they wanted to do was to actually do a brain surgery to remove the mass off of her pituitary gland. So immediately, when this is the prognosis they gave us in the treatment plan, me and my husband did a lot of research, and I said, well, I have to call Dr. Keely because I need to know the real. Like, what is the real pros and cons of accepting their treatment plan, and do we have any other alternatives? And I'm so grateful that I did, because our brother, he basically gave us the reality that most people who allow themselves to have surgery on their pituitary are never the same again. And so we had to make the decision to try alternative medicine versus just going straight for a surgery. So of course, the doctors and neurosurgeon, they weren't really happy about that, because if you're a surgeon, you like to do surgery, right? Yeah. That's what you went to school for. And so they really weren't very pleased with our stance on waiting. But we were basically given a 3-month window for her to continue to take the medication, and they would look at her again with an MRI in 3 months to see if the tumor had grown, and if it had grown anymore, then surgery would be the option that they would again present to us. So our brother, Dr. Keely, put us on a plan, which wasn't any medication. He did recommend to us one supplement, herbal tincture. But other than that, we were given a strict regimen on how to eat to live. My daughter, for the first time in her teenage life, she had to really muster up the strength to fast. So he recommended us a 12-hour fasting window for her. Absolutely no processed foods, no sugar. And we really had to to transition our entire household to a very, very strict and simple application of how to eat to live, with raw milk, navy beans, whole wheat bread, and fasting. And when we went back for her MRI in 3 months, the tumor was still the same size, but it had not increased in size. So we were excited about that. Very excited that it hadn't grown any.
That's right.
Praise to Allah. And so the doctors gave us another 3-month window. Okay, well, we're not going to do anything yet. We want to see her back in another 3 months. And at that time, we'll make a decision. So we continued on the plan that Brother Keely gave us. And when we went back in January, she had her last MRI. It was December of 2019. After that 6 months on the regimen with Brother Akili, my daughter looked better than she did in the beginning. Her skin was bright again. She wasn't having the severe vision problems that she suffered with before. And by December 2019, when she did her MRI, the pituitary adenoma had shrunk. And so we were in that doctor's office, Allahu Akbar, celebrating.
Yes,
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And the neurosurgeon really didn't have anything to say. He was just like, this is amazing. And she's due for another checkup in a couple of months on her birthday. But we are absolutely positive and grateful for our brother, Dr. Keely, and the teachers of the Elijah Muhammad with how to eat to live. Because if we didn't have that option or that alternative, we don't know where we would have been, because the only alternative that they gave us at the hospital was for her to have brain surgery. And we knew that was something that could potentially go wrong for us.
Potentially horribly wrong, y'all. When you agree to surgeries, as my sister said, that's how surgeons make their money. Specialists make their money with procedures and surgery. So we have to always make sure that we approach and get information on every option before we agree to that. So Kamaria, I know it was some difficulty factor in there for you. And I know when your mother first explained everything to me, I was extremely concerned. I don't think it was worry. It was just concern. But then I saw you at Savior's Day and you were smiling and running around and acting your normal self. Tell us a little bit about the whole journey for you. How was it when you first started to experience these symptoms? I know your mother talked one time about how you were having difficulties walking up and down steps, and of course your vision issues. But tell us how did that affect you, and how was it as far as putting in the hard work to get to a place where you can now move around and do some of the things normally like you always were?
So I'm a dancer, so me not being able to see, it was kind of like very stressful and kind of like weighed down on my confidence. But I think the regimen that you gave me, it did help, and I feel like it did like make me have more faith in holistic medicine more than I already did. So yeah.
And tell all of our brothers and sisters that are listening what kind of doctor you plan on being.
A pediatric oncologist.
There you go. So there's another one in the line, y'all. Sister Malika and I go way back. We've been friends before we even came into the nation. We had a friendship, and it was an honor, my sister. And again, for all of you that are listening, this is not about promoting Brother Keely. This is about any of y'all that are struggling, any of you that have children that may be going through something. Whatever it is that you are dealing with when it comes to a medical issue or problem or something that you need to work on to get over, this is to inspire you. It doesn't make a difference if it's a small problem or a huge problem, a problem that makes you feel like you might not make it, or just something that just irritates you and bothers you and doesn't give you peace. this is what this is about. So any closing remarks for either one of you after that beautiful testimony?
Yeah, I just want to encourage, everyone that's listening, because we never know. For me, I began practicing holistic medicine in 2009, and my children would tell you their journey growing up in the household with me was very interesting. Yeah, like we didn't eat candy. We had a very strict lifestyle. So to see my daughter experience this was very, very difficult for me. And it was hard for me as a parent thinking, okay, how did this happen? Right? Like, how did this happen? Well, we live in a toxic world. We live in a very toxic world. And what we've been given by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the way of how to eat to live is a remedy for that.
That's
but
right.
in any way that we compromise or in any way that we slack, we leave ourselves susceptible. And so I just want to encourage everyone on the line to really build their faith and their confidence in how to eat to live. And when you go to the doctor, know that you're there for diagnostic purposes only. You have to have the confidence in what it is that you believe and what you know to be true, because you're going to have to stand on that. And they're going to press you. They're going to pressure you. They're going to try to scare you into doing it their way. But, we have to have faith in what it is that we have. And my faith has been strengthened through this situation, and just seeing my daughter, grow her faith in what it is that we've been given as well. So I just want to celebrate her, because she's going through this as a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, and for her to have to make the type of decisions that many of us as adults have a hard time making is something really, really powerful and inspiring. So I love you, daughter. And I'm very grateful for what we have and what we've been given in the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the Nation of Islam through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah, and I also will say, Sister Kamaria, I always tell people, people can give me whatever credit they want to. I'm only going to give that back to Allah, because without Him and this book, How to Eat to Live, which you all see there, I wouldn't have anything to offer. But you did the work. And like your mother said, at 14, 15, and 16, I haven't seen a lot of success. I've seen a lot of major problems in teenage children, but I honestly haven't seen many. There's another one on tonight, but you are one of the few teenage children who dedicated themselves to the program and put in the work. Because I know your mother and I know your father, and I know they were setting some rules and some boundaries, but sometimes children can just say, I don't give a damn. I'm just not going to do it. But you put in the work and you had the faith. And like I told you when we first talked, and I shouldn't say when we first talked about this situation, this is going to mold you as a physician. This is going to make you the best physician anywhere you go, because it's never about what we know. It's how you apply it and how you interact with people. And this is going to make you 100% be able to connect with any person that comes to you with a problem. You'll be able to connect with them, and nobody will be able to talk you out of what happened, because you lived it yourself. And so that's a beautiful testimony. It's going to make you one of the best doctors on the planet Earth. And I can't wait to see you, because I know I'm going to learn from you, and I'm just going to sit back and watch and be like, wow, look at this one. So thank you all very much. I appreciate y'all. I love you both. I love your family. Congratulations on y'all newcomer coming soon. And please give the brothers a greetings for me.
Well, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
another beautiful testimony. I hope y'all agree. I hope y'all are sharing the show and letting some of your friends know, some of your people know, some of your sick friends or sick people know. Tell them to come on in, listen to this show. And again, it's about empowering people, right? It's empowering us to know that there are alternatives. No matter what you're dealing with, there are all alternatives. Do you believe? Will you put in the work? Because no matter what I say, and no matter what I do, it still comes down to what you are going to do. So let's get to the next beautiful couple up in here. Assalamu alaikum, my good people.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
I got Brother Eugene and Sister Tuesday, all the way from Connecticut through Atlanta, come to share a little bit with us tonight. So how are you all doing this evening?
Fine, by Allah's grace and mercy.
Sir.
Yes, thank you very much for taking some of your time and coming to speak with us this evening. And also, I forgot to thank everybody. I appreciate everybody for being gracious enough to come and talk about your personal situation and some things that are not necessarily easy to share, but you all coming and allowing us to have this conversation to benefit others, I think is a beautiful testimony of how beautiful all of you all are, how kind and caring you are to share your story so that we can help somebody else and give somebody some news that they can use. So go ahead, brother and sister, and tell us a little bit about how we got together, what caused us to link up, and then let's get the brothers and sisters a little factual, actual news that they can use.
Yes, sir. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, who came to us in the persons of Master Father Muhammad. And we thank Allah for raising up the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, whom has given us the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And with their names, I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Well, I'm going to let my wife actually testify on behalf of me, and I'm going to hold up this book. This is the key.
Absolutely. So I'll just start by saying some of you know that my husband, Brother Eugene, was diagnosed in 2009 with multiple sclerosis. And we were, I was 8.5 months pregnant when we learned that he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and it really kind of like hit us hard. At the time, I thought that I was doing a great job with what we were doing with How to Eat to Live, with implementing How to Eat to Live. I had been very mindful with what I was cooking, and over time I was trying to change up the diet and perfect the diet, but I still wasn't doing the best. And we weren't eating organic foods at the time. We still were eating some canned items. And so in 2016, I believe it was, just my husband had been dealing with this pain in his head and in his side right below his left rib for the whole time that he had been diagnosed. So that was 7 years that he was dealing with this pain that would never go away. He was diagnosed to take, or he was prescribed to take Rebif interferon beta 1. And so he had to take this shot 3 times a week, and the shot had to be taken every other day. And I had to give it to him, not intravenously, but into the fat layer. So I had to give it to him either in the biceps, his abdomen, his rear, his thighs, anywhere where there's fat. I would have to give him this shot and rotate it. But before we would do that, we would have to give him approximately 400 to 600 milligrams or ibuprofen, because he couldn't just take the shot alone, because he would have what they call flu-like symptoms. And so we were taking that shot. I was giving him that shot from 2009 all the way up till 2014, the end of 2014. And my husband was like, this is killing me, because, naturally ibuprofen is very heavy for the liver, and it kills you. So we decided we would try to go without the medication. My husband said, I just don't want to do it anymore. When he first got diagnosed, he wasn't able to walk straight. His left leg had turned out completely, so he needed to have a brace. He needed to walk with a cane. Sleeping at night is horrible. He has issues with breathing at nighttime, especially wakes up with having like tremors or seizures in the middle of the night. And so he said, I want to go without taking the medicine. So we, at the end of 2014, he didn't take the medicine. And then he talked to the neurologist, and the neurologist said, well, if it's giving you these symptoms, it might be a problem. We should, go ahead and see how you do without it. At the time, we're still trying to do better with the diet. And then Sister Tawana, which is your wife, Dr. Achilles' beautiful wife.
Yes, ma'am.
She is my longtime sister since I was about 16 years old. And I saw her and she was like, well, my husband is, a natural doctor. He can help you figure out, how to properly manage what you're dealing with. And so she made it where we got hooked up and we had a Zoom call because you're all the way in Texas and at the time we were in Connecticut. So you said, well, let us go into the cabinets, let us go into your what is it that you're eating? What are you using on your skin? What are you using for laundry detergent? I mean, like when I tell you we had just gone shopping. I had just come back from the grocery store the day before we had our Zoom call. And when I tell you, I had spent hundreds of dollars. And when you went into my cabinet, and this is via Zoom because, you're in Texas. So I'm like taking the camera around and showing you into the cabinet, showing you, soap that we're using and all this stuff. And basically you're like, it's all right because we were still practicing how to eat to live. It's okay, in other words, but you were like, I'm going to send you a list of things to, avoid at all costs and do this and do that. And immediately, I believe you had mentioned something about sometimes a problem that people have is they don't hear what you tell them. You tell them stuff, to better their situation or their condition, but they don't listen. And you said based on some of the things that you had seen, you knew that we would follow what you told us. And we did.
Yes, ma'am.
So
That's right.
Everything you told us to do, we did. And I mean, literally, I had just gone shopping, brother. I brought groceries back to the store. I gave some stuff away. I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
I was like, we not doing this. And we already bake everything pretty much from scratch. Right. And so we were really going in. It was like everything was organic now. I mean, we changed everything the way you instructed us, and everything was based on how to eat to live. Everything was based on how to eat to live. And when I tell you, it didn't take long, Brother Dr. Achilles. And one day you called and you said one of your famous lines, how's your program going?
Right.
How's it going?
Right.
And then you asked, what's your testimony? And I looked at my husband and I was like, I don't know.
Right. Now, I just turned 52 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Praise be to Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. All praise is due to Allah. Now, at one point, when I was diagnosed to have multiple sclerosis, my doctor told me that I would never walk again normal.
That's right.
So, after hearing that, I said to myself, he do not know what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, of course, my wife, who is a master cook,
Praise God.
she went to work, and 6 months later, my left leg started moving
Mm-hmm.
because my left leg was pretty much spaghetti-like.
Mm-hmm.
I had no feeling in my right leg.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of difficult to move about, but I wanted to prove that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching is right and exact that is given to us today by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the scriptures say, how would you know except you have a teacher? And how
That's
would
right.
you teacher except one is sent to you? Now, knowledge is the key. It was the knowledge that Allah has blessed us with coming through you, and we implement that discipline, that knowledge, and then here we are today, able to give our testimony.
Mm-hmm.
It gets better, as time goes by, but it takes, how to eat to live is a great it's a great medicine, but it takes prayer. And without the prayer with the how to eat to live, it cannot work.
Mm-mm.
It cannot work.
So what was
Well, I think you all made some really, really excellent points. And, I have to, say the same bearing of witness. You know, I remember a lecture that the minister did one time when he said, when you listen to people, listen to what they say, but listen to what's up under what they say. Listen to the motivation of what they say. Listen to what it is that they're coming from. And brothers and sisters, I just want you all to know that, you know, I believe that the God has gifted me with discernment.
Yeah.
There are times when I'm listening to people and I know the person who's going to follow what I'm saying versus the one that's not.
Right.
And so that again is why I continue to say, you know, that there could be a certain amount of the, let's say, credit given to me for having the information, but the majority of the credit, I should say all of the credit goes to God, but majority of the reality goes to the brother and sister, or the brother or the sister or the child, whoever that puts in the work. And that's literally what my discernment was when I was talking to them on the Zoom. And then we went to Connecticut one time, we visited them. I knew that these were people that were going to do what they said they were going to do. And that's what it takes. It's not about, you know, anything other than the fact that we have to get to work. Anytime your human body is in a place where it's not able to function correctly, or there's some things going wrong, it takes work to get it back into the place where it needs to be, because it took work to get it out of the place that it needs to be. You just didn't know you were doing work against yourself by eating the wrong foods and drinking the wrong things and not getting enough rest and not having the right type of environment and exercise, all these things. So I just wanted to give that back to you all. You all did a wonderful job of applying everything that I suggested to you. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about how the transition was, and then what kind of things have you been able to get back into as time has gone on, brother Eugene?
Well, and just to let some know that multiple sclerosis, that comes in different forms.
Yes, sir.
Was diagnosed to have relapsing and remitting, and having being diagnosed to have this particular disease, relapsing and remitting, I can easily relapse or have a silent relapse and not even know it. But the things that I'm able to do now, and which run with my children, and I can do whatever anyone else can do, but more, just as just as more, because my children, they're very busy. And so I like to run, I like to jog, I just like activity. But that's something that I will do to keep myself in shape. I might cut the grass to keep myself in shape.
A lot of grass.
It's a lot of yard. So,
but I want to add. I'm sorry.
When we first met, you were not able to do that, correct?
That's right.
No.
No, sir.
No.
Go ahead, Sister Tuesday. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
I was going to say, at one point, he started trying to do it back then around like 2010, but I could tell it was putting a lot of stress on him. And so now, as the time has gone by, and after we changed the diet, I mean, like when I tell you the pain that he complained about, he never would complain about it. But if you asked him, how are you feeling, or, what's going on with you, and he would mention it, there wasn't a day that didn't go by where he would say that this pain in the top of my head and this pain in my side. And when you asked what was the testimony, and he said, that pain is gone.
Right.
I don't feel that pain in the top of my head, and I don't feel that pain in my side. And when I tell you, 7 years is a long time to feel something every single day, and to just change your food habits. And we already eat one meal a day. We already were practicing that, but we weren't eating organic food. We were not eating organic food. We were being very careful about what we purchased. But like I said, back then, we were still buying some things that were a little bit not the best. And when you gave us the guidance on things to absolutely avoid at all costs, it was like, oh, wow. And so I have a sister who, when I was pregnant one time, she would take me to the grocery store and she would laugh at me because she would say, every time I take you to the store, you take forever reading the ingredients. And she's like, this is stuff you already buy. And this is before we met you. This is before we met you. And I said to her, I said, well, with the way the enemy is and the way they do the food, the ingredients always change. And so something that you think is okay today, tomorrow is not okay. And so it gave me, it kind of validated what I was doing when I would get the information from you and I started applying that information. Now I was like really more diligent with, and brother, when I go grocery shopping, I'm in the store for a couple of hours because if anything that has to come that's not produce out of the freezer, not the freezer, but the refrigerated section, if it's not fresh fruits and vegetables, anything that might possibly be packaged, I have to look at it.
Right.
I can't play with games, So, and like my husband said, mowing the lawn is a big deal. He loves to do that, and he can do it.
Well, it's amazing, because it's amazing, brothers and sisters, because a lot of doctors, and when I was being trained as a doctor, they used to always tell us, keep a distance from your patients. You never can become emotional. It's just not true. Not if you're a true physician. You become close with your patients. You start building a familyship, a friendship with people. And over the years, it was amazing because as I was sitting, when I asked about the testimony, I was in Houston and they were still in Connecticut. And I remember Sister Tuesday looking in the camera and she said, I really don't know.
Right.
And then she turned and she said, you know what? You haven't been complaining about that. And then Brother Eugene started going there. And you know what? This ain't been happening. And so that was the amazing thing.
It was amazing.
And this is what I always say, no matter where you are, no matter how much pain, no matter the inability to move like you want to, as your body starts to improve and go back in a direction, you won't even realize a lot of the things that are happening until either something brings it to your attention or somebody asks you about, hey, what about such. Right. And so that's what was amazing about it, is that Brother Eugene had made the type of progress, and he had made so much progress that some things he didn't even recognize until it was brought to his attention. I remember that conversation. And then the other thing that was very, very poignant about this interaction was, I remember the first time I saw Brother Eugene in person. And the brother asked me about, he asked me about some personal things, and I asked him about some personal things. And the thing that came out in that conversation that we had in common is we love to soldier with our people. We love to be out amongst our people. And that was one of the things that I think he missed the most.
Right.
And I remember that brother saying to me with this very serious look on his face, I wish I could just walk again so I could be with my children, be with my wife, and to get out there with the people. And that was a major effect it had on me, because as I work with a lot of people who have problems, I have to be more thankful and have more gratitude of the fact that I still have my ability to function considered normal, right? So yeah, that was a beautiful experience that we have had together. It's really like we always talk about, growing ourselves in the faith, but also growing in love with each other. This grows us in a love that's unmatched, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Anything else y'all want to share?
I personally would say it was interesting to find out that you were having this testimonial today, because we talk about you all the time. And I literally was just mentioning, I think 2 days before you sent the text, I had just talked to somebody about our experience with you and the gratitude that we have for having experienced our experience with you.
Right.
Because truthfully, there are a lot of things that we want to do. And I'm noticing that the more we get better, like even with the raw milk,
Right.
our 5-year-old, who is now 5 as of last month, what the other young sister was saying about, or the brother that was saying about his son, being like kind of addicted to the raw milk. Our 5-year-old is like that.
Right.
Because just having that naturalness when you're done nursing them, and you can't, and just all the different things that we have to change with the diet to develop ourselves, having someone who studied this information and can really apply it to this teaching. I mean, everybody is not doing this. Everybody is going to the doctor and taking some type of medicine or vaccination. And thank you that we don't have to do that.
And brother, just to say, it is because of this that got me off of my medication. Really, I wanted to challenge what the doctors were saying. If I do not take the medication, they say I may deteriorate real fast.
Right.
And so it's been for how long?
Early 2015, maybe February or March of 2015 was the last time we took the medication. Right. But by the time we encountered you, brother Dr. Akili, that was 2016. Yeah. And
yes, ma'am.
That pain has been gone, and we're in 2020, and we're just going forward. Right, and as we said, my husband turned 52 yesterday. And so you can see, if you could see him after he was diagnosed with MS, you would not know he was the same brother.
That's right.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact that my brother definitely looks a lot younger from the time that I met him. Mm-hmm. And I know some of that aging that was occurring in him was due to the fact that he was so mentally stressed because he wasn't able to do what he thought he should be able and capable of doing as a man. I remember those conversations, my brother. Yes, you did a lot of soul expression with me, and I'll forever be thankful for the way that those conversations and that time together grew us as a brother. And as we always said, one of these days we're gonna get out in them streets together, bro. We're gonna make something happen. Allah gonna bless us with some magic while we're out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also your brother Joseph here in Atlanta wanted to give you a shout out. Actually, he mentioned yesterday to tell my brother. He said, "Tell my brother I say hi, assalamu alaikum. The next time I speak with you."
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Please return him and tell my brother I miss him, man. Most of the time we only get to see each other at Savior's Day and the Holy Day of Atonement, man. But that's my brother right there. We work hard during them times of year, man. I really appreciate him. So you all, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all coming in. Keep up the hard work.
Yes,
and thank you all for being such a wonderful steward of the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and how to eat to live, because it was really your activity, your action. I gave you a little bit of information, but y'all took it and ran with it and have made this beautiful reality to make a testament. And so for all of you, again, that are listening to the show, if you're dealing with something serious, this brother that you're listening to right here would say that this is probably one of the most difficult cases, one of the most difficult things to improve. Right. That's just been my experience. I think everything in the human body can improve and sometimes be totally at a place where you have no idea you ever had a problem. Yeah. But when it comes to problems with the brain and the eye, which are mostly nerve endings in both of those organs, it's a difficult process. And this was an enduring process that this brother did. It was not easy. It didn't happen overnight. Right. When we're talking about this conversation that we had, when they talked about the things that had changed, they had been diligent for months when those things started. And then the year after year after year, he's just gotten better and he's gotten better and he's gotten better because they're not doing it for a while and falling back off. They're diligent. We all are not perfect. None of us do it 100%. But I know that, again, as I said, I was talking to two people that were going to do it. And that's what they've continued to do. They continue to work and improve and challenge themselves and discipline themselves over the years. That's what it takes. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Wa alaikum salam. And one other thing that I want to mention just real quickly, I am a scientist. When I first read in the Quran that milk was agreeable to the drinker, that statement didn't agree with me. And nor did it with the first time I bought some milk and put it up to my nose. I couldn't stand the smell of it, didn't like the taste of it, poured it out in the sink. Why am I saying that? Because I know there's some people that are against drinking milk. They have these reasons and all these things. And I did too at one point. But at some point, we have to, and I can't say we, I'm going to speak for myself. At some point, I had to say, okay, I'm either going to experiment to try to prove this right or prove it wrong. And that's what happened when I first read those books. I said, I'm either going to prove this wrong or I'm going to prove it right. And the honesty, my first thought was, I'm going to prove this wrong because I thought I knew better. And like a friend of mine told me one time, you're not going to disagree with Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You can just say that I don't understand. And that's exactly what it was. Because as time goes on, as you all hear today, I have to say that it is the book that has given me everything. And, you know, whatever I had from my medical education, it serves a purpose. But this book has allowed me to take what is no good out of that medical education, get rid of it, and hold on to what can help me help other people. Okay. So again, thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate you all for still being around. We got a couple more to go. So now we're going to bring in a tall girl in a small world. Aaliyah, what's happening, my sister? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Did that weight make you more nervous or less nervous?
Less. I was
Praise.
listening, but at the same time, I was practicing what I'm going to say.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so go ahead. Tell the brothers and sisters what you want to tell them. This is your platform. Go ahead, do your thing.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I further bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught the men to Louis Farrakhan, and because of those three men is the reason that I am alive today. I want to take a moment to praise and give thanks to Allah because He has blessed me tremendously with His grace and His mercy. Since I was in my mother's womb, He has been with me. And fast forward to the year of 2017 is when I first started my healing journey, but I really didn't realize it. And Allah was using me as a vessel to prove to the world and prove to the nation that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's words and how to live are definitely true. So when I was in high school, I conducted an experiment on myself because I have a disease called hydrocephalus, and it's an over amount of fluid in the brain, and it causes the brain to swell, which causes headaches, which causes nausea, seizures, and all that bad stuff, bad symptoms, stuff like that. I approached Dr. Keely Muhammad when I first started experimenting because that was the first person I thought of because he is the divine teacher in how to eat to live, and that is foundation of what he do as a physician. So my hypothesis was that the nutrition of food, the nutrition of food, it doesn't matter how high or low the amount is, has an effect on your body, has a good effect on your body. And the thought that you put in that food has a great effect in the neurological system, in my case, with hydrocephalus. So for 6 to 9 months, I did this experiment with Dr. Keeling, and I saw some great results. I measured my head, I measured the pain level, and my head decreased, and the pain level went down. Unfortunately, after the competition, I stopped going on that plan, and my health started to disintegrate. And the same year, later that year of December 2017, I started to feel really, really ill. And I was experiencing body paralyzing pain. I went into 2018, laying in bed and extremely ill and not knowing what was wrong with me. So early January, I went to the hospital and I was just getting a regular MRI because of my hydrocephalus. And when I was in the MRI, they discovered that I had a subdermal hematoma. And for those who don't know, a subdermal hematoma is when it's an over amount, what was basically bleeding in the brain. And when they found that out, they were trying to convince myself and my family or my parents that they wanted to do a surgery called a burr hole, where they go inside the skull and suck the blood out. They were trying to convince us to do this, and they was using words like simple, easy procedure. But as you know, any procedure, any surgery is not simple at all, especially brain surgery. It can change your life forever if one mistake is made. So after
That's right.
many discussions with the medical doctor, and then because of my previous experience with Dr. Keeley, I said, oh, Dr. Keeley can help me. And Dr. Keeley came to the hospital and he was there through the whole process. And throughout the process, unfortunately, my face started to decrease and my doubt started to increase in me because what they were saying, oh, you're gonna suffer from retardation. You're gonna die early, and they're saying all these negative things to me if I did not get the surgery. That caused me to become fear, and that caused me to gain a whole bunch of doubt. So we decided to go with Dr. Keeley, and we decided to follow How to Eat to Live. But in that state, in that moment, I was not faithful. I was full of doubt. So the reason I did it was for my parents and for my family. I was not doing it for myself. So weeks after, in the week of my birthday, I experienced major symptoms. I lost the ability to use my hands, and I lost the ability to speak. And when that happened, I really panicked. In my mind, the faith that I didn't have showed itself. The doubt I didn't have showed itself, and I started to think I knew this wasn't going to work. The doctors at the medical center and at the medical hospital were correct, and I should go get the surgery. So after I experienced that, I called Dr. Keeley. My parents called Dr. Keeley, and I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. I was crying. And that same day, he came to my house and he checked me out. And he had to speak to me and my parents. And I called them my team, but it's a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of brothers and sisters that helped me through my journey. And I can never thank them enough because they helped me to where I am at today. And that day, my face grew a little bit more. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep on going. And that time after that conversation with all of them, I started to do this plan and do this way for myself and for my family. And fortunately, I wrote a letter to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and
That's right.
saved
That's right.
that same year, 2018. I had the privilege and the honor to meet him at his hotel room. And that was the greatest experience in my life. And it was an emotional experience. It was an incredible experience. And when I was there, he just expressed how proud of me he was. And he just expressed how much he loved me and how he appreciated the project I did previously in 2017 and what I'm doing now with How to Eat to Live, and how I'm proving that it can help different diseases and um you have different diseases and it can help, and you don't have to go with the medical route or you don't have to use surgery or medicine. And during that meeting he also prayed for me, and after he prayed for me he said two words: it's done. And I was in it, but after that I was in it, and I was like, okay, this is really going to work. I have a lot backing me. I have the minister backing me, and I have the Honorable Elijah Muhammad backing me. And
That's right.
like the minister talked about in the criterion when he said those two hands shake me, those two hands are shaking me and they're backing me and they're fueling me to keep going and to keep striving. And through this whole process, I have found my purpose. I actually want to be just like the man you see, Dr. Keely Muhammad. I want to help people through How to Eat to Live, and I want to use my story to inspire whoever I need to inspire to go in this path, to show them that How to Eat to Live works, and it's a choice that you need to make. And in my concluding, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said in his lecture, Jesus is the Key, part two of his Savior's Day lecture of this year, 2020, he said the body is almost magical. If you let it, it will heal itself. And for it to heal itself, you have to have the willingness, the intention, and your mind, body, and spirit has to be aligned. And I talk this way. Don't think I'm perfect. I'm able to talk this way because of experience and because of love and because of constantly studying, constantly praying, and because of knowledge and faith. And that knowledge and faith that's backing my will. And for that knowledge and faith to back your will, that's the proper amount of will. And you can, like God said, being and is, and study God, the will of God. He said, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said, we have the power to embody that will like Allah does, but we have to have faith and knowledge. And after weeks, months, years of following this plan, I have increased my will and increased my faith and increased everything.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful, wonderful testimony, Celia. Hey, did I get all your information right down there for a tall girl in a small world? That's
Yes,
it for
sir.
Instagram
Yes,
and Twitter, right?
yes,
Huh?
yes.
Oh, good, good, good. So as you all can see, Aaliyah is not only very beautifully expressing herself, but I want you all to know that you were what, 17 or 16 when you first started?
I was 17, but weeks, like 2, 3 weeks after I turned 18.
Okay. But regardless, y'all, that was a lot to go through. So, I put some pictures up there so you all could see as she was describing things in the beginning. But some of you adults that are here can just imagine what you would have been thinking at 16, 17. And then like Kamaria, a couple of testimonies ago, at 14 and 15, having these major, major, major medical problems that were given to them and placed on their shoulders. And like we say as a mantra, Allah will never put on your shoulders what you're not able to handle. He will never put on a burden on you that you aren't capable of handling. But these were some pretty big burdens that were put on these young ladies' shoulders. And I have to say that with Kamaria, of course, she lived in New Orleans while this process was happening. But Aaliyah was right here in Houston, so I was able to see her on a regular basis. I interacted with her regularly, and I haven't seen anybody dedicate and be as diligent to a program that I put together. I've never seen it. Obviously some other people are doing it, but in general, I haven't seen anybody do it to the degree that she did. So talk a little bit about that, Aaliyah, about where you are now. And you talked about the confidence and the faith that grew through that. But what else have the experiences that you've been through and the healing that you went through, what has it done for you now from a physical and a perspective of your day-to-day reality?
From a physical perspective, not only has it improved the conditions that I was diagnosed with, it also improved the it also improved my body in ways that I didn't think it would. Like my skin, for one, the large organ in your body, my skin is more brighter, it's more clear. Every time someone sees me and I'm super disciplined before that time, they just tell me, "Oh, you're glowing, you're so bright," and all the things that Sister Maleka was saying about Kamaria. And to go into that, when you was talking about Kamaria, Sister Maleka, I can relate more to the Kamaria, yes, because we were close to the same age when we started, and
Right.
it's no easy thing for anyone, but it's especially not easy for children or teenagers because they have a lot of distractions. When I went to school, I had a lot of distraction. A lot was testing me. When I went to college, a lot was testing me because I was by myself and no one was watching me. I had to find the will, the discipline in myself to realize that I'm living in a reality where my health and the improvement of my health trumps what I want to do or what I think is right or what my friends are doing. I just have to go in this straight path. I have to go in this path that Allah has set for me because Allah planned and we plan. He's the best planner.
Right.
So I'm just going to go with his plan. If that answered your question.
Oh, it absolutely did. Absolutely did. It's amazing, brothers and sisters. Like I said, when I go through some of these processes with people. But as I said, watching Aaliyah over the years, she has such strength and such power in her spirit. And it doesn't necessarily mean that a person that has power in their spirit always has to talk strong. They don't have to be strong 100% of the time, but watching a person go through what she went through, knowing that something was going on in her head, knowing that the blood was up in her head and having concerns about that, but continuing to just grind day by day by day. When, you know, I've been in Aaliyah's company and there are people eating donuts and pizza and drinking this and eating ice cream and all this kind of stuff. And she was not fazed. When I tell you not phased, I'm serious. I'm giving in. I'm eating ice cream and some of the pizza and some of the cake, and Aaliyah didn't budge. So I mean, it was amazing to watch. It was a true testimony of her will and desire, which is what Allah has put in her, the strength and the power that He's put in us. And I also am very happy to say that Aaliyah is part of my young physicians team. Even though she's not going to be a physician, she's going to be a food physician. So to me, that's one and the same, because we may learn about the body and we may learn about a lot of things on how the body works and how it doesn't work and what to do to adjust it. But she's in food science and she's going to be right there along with me. I'm going to be watching her and a bunch of other people make all kind of amazing changes to our reality as Black people. And that's what we need, is some new information, new way to do things, some news that we can use so we can change the landscape of how we look at our families, and all we expect is disease and short life. So I'm very thankful of the power and the dedication that you put, Aaliyah, because again, like if it wasn't for people like you, I wouldn't be able to do a show like this, because I can talk all day, but those of you who work and make it a reality give me something to be happy about and something to connect to. So thank you, my sister. Anything you want to say as we close out?
No, sir. I think I said everything. Well, one more thing. I want to read a scripture from the Bible that I think embodies everybody who goes through this path, or everybody who chooses this path or want to choose this path. The verse is, "The race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but unto them that endure to the end." And this healing process is not fast at all, and you can't go into it thinking you're going to do this a couple of weeks and all your problems are going away. I've been doing this for about 2 to 3 years, and I still have problems coming up that I need to solve with how to eat to live. And I'm going to be doing this, inshallah, for the rest of my life. And I'm going to be using this platform to inspire others, like I said, and to help me strengthen my career and strengthen the reason why and the why factor of what I want to do for the rest of my life. But that's it.
Right. That's right. So everybody, please, while we are transitioning into our last testimony, everybody, please share the show and go follow Alilo the Great. That's what I call her on Twitter and IG at A Tall Girl in a Small World. Thank you very much, Aaliyah. I'll see you soon, sister.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. My brother, last but not least, y'all ready for this one? Brother Jay to the delay. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you, soldier?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I appreciate you coming in, taking a little bit of your time to tell us a little something, my brother.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would be remiss in my duty if I did not. Dear brothers and sisters that are on, whether Muslim or not, I would be dead wrong if I didn't come on, or if I were not allowed to sit here and talk to this brother and talk to you and give you the real. So if you ain't ready for the real, you might as well go ahead and shut the computer down and go on and keep doing. I'm just telling you now, because did not we say that we were going to be here one day? Did not we ask God together that we would be here one day?
That's right.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I too bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger. And I truly, truly, for the rest of my days on this earth, I could never thank God enough for coming in the person of Master Fard Muhammad and teaching the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And in 3.5 years, that man taught him enough that he handcuffed the world. But it wasn't just that. He taught another and he's doing more than just handcuffing the world. He's hog tying the world. You
That's
ever
right.
been to a rodeo and you see him at the end when they get the calf and they rope him up and they throw the hand up like that? That's pretty much what he's doing. But in all seriousness, back in 2013, now brothers, I want to talk to you especially, and sisters, I just want you to hear. But let me talk to the brothers just for 1 second. The pressures of the world, your job, taking care of your family, doing all those things. At one time, I'm an on-air personality on the radio. I'm the voice of an NBA team. I'm the spokesperson for Big Brothers Big Sister. I'm running club nights. I'm doing all kinds of things because I had in my heart and my mind, I truly felt that, you know what? If I give so much to the community, even if I work myself to death, the community would wrap its arms around my family and around my children. As foolish as it may seem, good people, I too had to learn. So we all have to go through a process of learning, a process of growing. And Aaliyah, let me just, man, if I could just hug that baby's neck. She is, oh my God.
Awesome.
I can't even explain it. I'm
Yes.
so proud of you, Aaliyah. So proud of you, sister. But I was just working myself to death, and the stress of doing that, then family life and things of that nature. So I go through a divorce, horrible divorce. And the stress and the pressure from that, brothers, sisters, stress will kill you. Stress will kill you. I'm telling you, I've been there. So I'm laying in the hospital with pineal abscess. These things on my back, on the back part of my spine, on both sides of my spine, right above my butt. It starts itching one day. Then the next day it's itching a little more. And I'm a pretty healthy person. I've always been an athlete all my life. Played football, baseball, all my life. Athlete, invincible. Nothing is wrong. You know, if I catch a cold, I get a cold. 2 days, 3 days, I'm back in the game. I'm good. No problem. Well, on both sides of my spine, it starts itching. Then the next day I can feel nodules. Then the next day it feels like, you know, marbles on both sides of my spine. The next day it feels like golf balls. And these things are growing. So I'm taking salt baths, trying to be healthy, you know, do all these things. And all of a sudden they're growing. And the next day I wake up, they're the size of baseballs on both sides of my spine. My son comes in my room and he's like, Dad, man, it don't look good, Dad. These things are on both sides of your spine. Well, son, I'm trying to be strong for him. I'm trying to give myself philosophical things to say. Next thing I know, the next morning I wake up and my son said, Dad, let me see. He looks at it and immediately starts crying. Oh my God, Dad, these things are bigger than softballs on both sides of my spine. He convinces me, it didn't take much, to go to the hospital, you know, but still, Brother Jay, I'm hard, I'm tough. I got this, I can do it. I get to the hospital and the doctor lances part of it. He lances it and he tests it. And here I go, I'm laying there waiting for the results. He comes back in the room and he's breathing hard and he looks at me and here's this man, here's this doctor, here's this man, this white dude raising his voice at me. And I'm like, whoa, Doc, hold on. He's like, Mr. DeLay, let me tell you something. Healthy people have 10,000 white blood cells present. Very, very sick people have about 15,000 present. You have over 30,000 white blood cells present, and you might not make it through the night. I said, what the hell you say? I might not make it through the night? And I'm thinking he's, I'm looking for the cameras. I'm like, okay, somebody gonna come in. I'm being punked. But this man was serious. He was very serious, and I couldn't sit up straight. I was in so much pain. All I could see was white. You ever had a bright light in your eyes and you can't see anything? I was in so much pain. The more the night went on. So this man says, he said, if you want to live, we immediately have to start treating this. So they start treating, and he said, first thing we want to do is give you some pain medicine. And they gave me a morphine. They gave me the highest dose you could have of morphine, Doc. You know what that would be. You knew what that was when they gave it to me, some high form of morphine.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, you should feel better. And I'm like, but I don't feel anything. I feel the same pain. He was like, that's impossible. I'm like, man, I don't have a reason to lie to you. And he was like, there's no humanly way that you took this much morphine and don't feel anything. So they start whispering among themselves. And, white people get in the huddle and a black man laying on the table. You really got to start talking to God. Oh, God, please, Allah. Please,
Yeah.
Allah. So they gave me, I hadn't got a hold of you yet because my son had my phone and it was late. Didn't want to call you and bother you. So they gave me what's called Dilaudid. And I don't know who the hell made Dilaudid, but it's got to be from the devil, because this stuff, it stopped my pain, but I literally passed out. And so next thing I know, I wake up and they had to try to remove these things. And they were so large until I had 4 different surgeries, because they could only remove a piece at a time, or I would have had a bigger hole in my back. So they removed portions of it, and I had to call Dr. Akili. And I could barely speak. I was in so much pain, but I called Doc. And Doc, I need you. I was in Atlanta at the time. He was in Houston. He never, ever once said the word well or man. It was no question. He got on the plane and he came and saw me. Well, he gets there after the surgeries, and Doc, you can attest how big the hole in my backside. I had two, but one was much worse because it was spreading. And basically I had a hole in my back. It was 9.5 inches long and it was 4.5 inches deep, almost halfway through me. And Doc gets there to Atlanta. And he looks at the wound. The first thing, turn over, Jay, let me see it. And he sees the wound. And Doc, I often wondered, and I never ask you, why did you see the wound, Doc, and get pissed off? You got really angry. I could see it in your face. You turned red. Do you remember why, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, bro. Anytime I come to be a part of anybody's care, I'm going to treat you like you're my family member. So I expect things to be done the right way. And when he turned over, I looked at the wound for the first time. It wasn't packed the way I thought it should be packed. It wasn't covered the way I thought it should be covered. So I immediately got pissed off because it wasn't proper care. So yeah, I mean, I was ready to whip somebody's behind like 2 seconds after looking at it.
You did. And then the doctor comes in, and I knew I was in trouble, because when Dr. Akili, he started talking about, well, this man, he tells him who he is and he tries to be cordial. And I'm laying there on my side in pain. And all I remember was Dr. Akili was talking to the man, and the man talked about maybe 60 seconds. And in mid-sentence, he took the chart from him. And he's like, he took the chart from the man, and he was like, you're talking about skin grafts, and you're talking about this and that. And then you look down at me, and I was like, Doc, I'm the one hurting, Doc. I ain't in it. I don't know what happened. Doc said, Jay, you're not going to get plastic surgery because you already have a scar. You got 2 scars. He said, brother, what's easier to heal? 2, or if they go and scrape skin off your body from somewhere, and now you got several places to heal? Obviously, 2. So Doc took the stuff off, and he said, I can put my entire hand in your wound.
All the way in the wound like this. I was cleaning it with my hand. This would be his back, the skin of his back, and my hand was in the wound, and I was turning it like that to clean the wound out all the way up to my wrist. That's how deep it was.
And I'd never seen, knowing Dr. Akili, or knowing what I knew of him, he's not an emotional man, but I could kind of see the anger and almost like tears in your eyes. You were like angry, really angry about it. And you were upset because they're not gonna do you any kind of way. They're not gonna do us any kind of way anymore. I'm sick and tired of this. And I'm hearing you talking, and you're halfway out of it. But Doc told him, and when you told that doctor, he's not getting plastic surgery, and you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that to him. I was sitting up there, y'all, and you know how when 2 people fighting, like when your mom and daddy fighting when you're little, you're looking at your mom and you're looking at your daddy, and you just like, damn. So I didn't know. Truly, I didn't know, but he was reassuring. That's my brother. We believe in God the same. And I learned to trust him. And he just basically told me, he was like pointing at me, you're not going to do this. You're not going to, oh, okay, I'm not. But in my mind, I ain't going to lie. I called you, Doc. Can I tell you the truth, Doc?
Yeah, come on, man. I probably know it anyway.
I call you. I say, man, this man is he's damn crazy. And I said, I got a hole in my back. I need to close this up. And you said, no, we're going to heal it. So, Doc, my faith, I got faith, but my faith in that process, it got so much stronger. But I thank you, Doc, because as a brother, and we're all going to be there one day. It is what it is. It's life. If your faith wanes in the least, I pray God sends you someone that restores your faith, even when yours wanes, even in the smallest amount. Because that's what Dr. Akili does, and that's what he did. So you can look in somebody's face and you're hoping and praying and rolling the dice that some doctor is going to be benevolent and he's going to be merciful. And you hope and pray that this person doesn't have an angst, or he's not looking at you as a dollar, or looking at you, or, I can just do this and do that and, be done with it. And then, I've got to hurry up because I got to play golf in 45 minutes.
That's right.
So you just going to put your life in some stranger's hands. And many of us, let's be honest, you go to the emergency room or you're in the hospital, half the time we're afraid to ask them questions. They dictate to us what they're going to do to us.
That's right.
And we don't do a damn thing about it. And all we got, and all we want to do, praying is good. But faith without what?
That's right.
Work is dead. And that's real. So when my brother got there, that at least, okay, all right. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna follow. So he goes back. I finally get out of the hospital after 64 days. Doc is there, takes me to the house, and I hadn't been home in almost 3 months. So he looks in my refrigerator and my cabinets and everything. Now, I consider myself, Doc, you got to be honest, I thought I was pretty healthy. I thought I was doing pretty good.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did, huh?
Yeah, you did.
Until this man, you know how you go grocery shopping or you go to a food pantry and they just digging stuff and they putting stuff in boxes and stuff. That's the way Doc did my house. That's going in the trash, and he's looking at stuff and he's turning around. Doc, what are you looking at? Pronounce 3 of those words. Polybite, sorbent, carbon, throw it away. If there's 3 things on the label that you can't pronounce, damn it, you don't need it. throws away everything in my kitchen. And I'm sitting there like looking at, damn, the Cocoa Puffs gotta go. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm pretty healthy. But Doc, don't take away a man's Golden Grams and Cocoa Puffs. All that stuff had to go. So Doc, he went to my house, cleaned out everything. And then you remember that, Doc, when I had to go, we went to the store and I rode on that scooter and I had to lean on the scooter because my energy level was zero.
Yeah.
It was zero. I just got out of the hospital. Doc took me, went shopping. You're going to eat this. You're going to eat that. All I want you to eat is the following vegetables. And we bought a load of vegetables, and that's it. Vegetables, then bean soup, and then raw milk.
Yeah, some fruit in there, bro. You had a little bit of fruit in there.
We had fruit. I forgot about the fruit. And then in my wound, I really thought Doc was crazy. What was that? Was that Manuka honey you put in my wound?
Yes.
You put honey in my wound. I ate how to eat to live.
And everybody, the nurse, the doctors, everybody thought I was crazy.
Everybody thought he was really crazy, man. Man, I feel sorry for dude. He ain't gonna make it. They like putting in side bets to see how long before I come back to the hospital. So, Doc takes me there, and then he tells me, Brother Jay, do you want to live? And he hit me right where I'm at. Let's be honest. Some of us, especially, I'm sisters. I'm just talking to the brothers here for a second. I may not have been very good as a husband, but I'm a damn good father. And my children are my whole world. And I thought about it. I had not taken God's hand and my children's hand and done this yet. So God, Allah, I can't leave this earth. I cannot leave this earth. And I begged, I willed myself, and whatever it took, and everything that Doc told me to do, I did it. And my body got regulated. I ate twice a day because I had to build back up everything. I had to build everything back up in my body. It depleted me. I think I lost like 60 or 70 pounds in the hospital. And Doc, 10 o'clock I would eat, and my body I could be in the middle of, a dead sleep, and my body would wake me up. It's time to eat, dude. It's time to eat. And it craved the nutrients, the raw milk. It craved the vegetables. It craved it. And I did that. Doc wasn't in about 90 days. And at the 90-day point, I had to go back to a particular doctor. And my word, family, I'm telling you, my word. This Jewish doctor looked at me, and I never in my life had a doctor cuss like that at me. What the F are you doing? There is no way you healed a wound this fast. What are you doing? Number one, I didn't know if I should choke slam him or be happy. So I took the lab.
They told you when I first came there, bro, they told you in my presence, I think it was on the phone that day, that it was going to take 1.5 years at the fastest to heal that wound.
He said a year.
If they did the surgery to give you skin grafts, it may heal it maybe 1 or 2 months earlier. And in 4 months, when you went back, that's when that doctor said that. It was 120 days approximately, and your wound was completely healed. And they couldn't believe it. They had never seen anything like it.
They had never seen it. The bed of the wound, which is the depth of the wound, it usually takes time for all that skin and all of everything up in there to build back up, and the wound closes. But family, when I tell you, listen to me. I'm appealing to you seriously. When this man came and told me that, yes, I did. I fought it. I didn't believe. I'm like, man, there is no way. Give me that medicine. I need to heal. I need to live. But the more every single day, and then they tried to give me a medicine because the pain medicine that I had, to this day, to this very day, Doc, I will not even take. I was offered today. I got stiffness. I was offered today. Here, take a Tylenol. Nope. Hell no. I want so much to take. I won't take a Tylenol because the pain medicine in the hospital, my God, anybody that if you ain't never been on drugs, when it allows you to understand the mind of somebody on drugs, that pain medicine, when they cut me off and they told me, well, we're not going to give you any more after tomorrow. Huh? What? You see another side of yourself. You see a side of yourself that you don't like, and you're having the shivers. And, we laugh at dope fiends because they, shake and shiver and they're going through that. And Doc said, they told me, well, we can give you another pill to kind of help you come down off that pill. So I'm like, hell no. You want to give me a pill because I'm having withdrawals from pain medicine to get me caught up on that pill? And Doc told me, he said, I want you to drink gallons of water a day. Gallons of water a day. All right, Doc. So I'm drinking water. I'm just drinking water. He said that medicine goes. Doc, explain that really quick, how pain medicine, it gets caught in your brain tissue. And that's,
well, yeah, not only your brain tissue, but other tissues as well. It gets some gets stored in your fat tissue and some can get stored in the liver. But the point that I was really trying to get Jay to understand is that there has to always be a transition from addictive stuff. If you don't want to get addicted, you have to transfer from that to something that's not addictive. And the thing that Jay had to understand was that he was on so much medication in the hospital. They were putting him on medication sometimes when he didn't even know it because he had a drip of it. And so when he got out to hospital, I knew that he had to start tailoring that down as his nutrition went up. And so I kept telling him, the milk is going to help pull some of these toxins out. The navy beans are going to help pull some of these toxins out. And as you improve your nutrition, your own pain centers are going to increase and improve in their ability to take care of your pain. And of course, I mean, it's like this story, like every other story. When you first tell people, sometimes they look at you like, nigga, you out your damn mind. And so it takes time, and it takes a few days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months. And then people say, damn, what you say was correct. But I mean, that's like I tell all the time, y'all, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. And a lot of times when I try to explain things, it's not necessarily easy to explain everything so that everybody can understand. I try to do the best I can, but that's what it was. Brother Jay was in pain. He was in his bed. He couldn't do much for himself. And he was going through withdrawals from these pain medicines. And just imagine, some of you have had probably some drug people addicted to drugs, maybe in your family or somebody that you know. When a person is in drug withdrawal, they don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Give me some relief and shut the hell up and get out of my face. That's really what they want. And that's where Jay was. And it was one of those type of things where we had to have this little fight. He was trying to get what he wanted, and I was trying to get him to try a new road. And so that's where it was. It was a pretty difficult fight, but that's what we do. Got to make it happen.
And it's just so interesting when I look back on it all. And we did sort of a documentary on this, and we had Doc, when you came back, we had that guy that wanted to do the that shot all the video. But yes. I really think about it, and I thank God. Brothers and sisters, you sitting there right now, and there's an ailment with you. And half the time fear stops us. So is it fear that you are as powerful as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talks about, or as people have told you in your life? Or is that fear of failure stopping you? Bottom line, brothers and sisters, it's on you. God is already giving you away. He's already giving you away. See that dude right there? That dude right there? Let me tell you something. I have a gift. Being on the radio, doing voiceovers all over the world. I'm so honored and thankful that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will allow me to do all of the commercials for Savior's Day, all of the commercials for his lectures and things of that nature. When you hear the voice, I am honored beyond belief. But he gives certain people certain gifts. And that dude, this brother right here, he has a gift. He has a passion to do this. You sit up there and you trust those people if you want, and then you wind up later. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. Right after that, I developed, you remember, with my toe. I was an athlete. I had turf toe really bad. I went in there messing with it, and my toe got infected. It got so infected that I had to go into the hospital once again. Do you know what they told me in the hospital? Sitting there in the hospital, I called him. I said, Doc, they said they could just take my big toe off and I wouldn't ever have a problem again, and I don't have to worry about it. And he said, and you told them what? I told him, hell no. And he said, okay, you're finally learning. You're finally and the doctor said it like you see somebody that's thirsty. You see a brother, hey, baby, hey, let me holler at you. Hey, let me holler at you. That's how the doctor came, and we could take that big toe off, and we could make sure, and we can. I mean, he was up in that thing, and I was like, not no, but hell no, you ain't taking my big toe off. Sure enough, I get back on my regiment. I get back on my plan, and the craziest thing helped me heal. They tried to they had me a PICC line. They had all kinds of stuff, and they constantly give me medication. And you know what healed me? Black seed oil. Black seed oil did more for me than everything in the hospital. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, you can do as you wish because you're grown. But when God puts somebody in your face, ain't nobody got to sell him. You ain't got to go to him. Somebody will. I promise you. That's one of the best friends that I have in this world. How many of you have ever gone to a doctor and he might have helped you out, but you can say he's one of your best friends in the world? Not many. I know you can. So brothers and sisters, I would be absolutely remiss in my duty of brotherhood if I didn't come and share with y'all just how Dr. Akili, his plan of action. Now I can understand if he got it from medical school, but he'll openly tell you, I got it from God. I got it from God. Right. What else? Right. What else are you looking for? What else are you looking for? Brothers and sisters, call the man. The number's at the bottom of the screen. What you waiting for? Then when it's too late, we had a brother, and I have to be honest, man. I hope you don't mind if I say this, Doc.
I don't know what you're about to say, but go ahead.
There was a brother that was sick around the same time that I was. I thank Almighty God. I listened. That brother didn't. He's no longer with us. He's no longer with us. He had the same opportunity I had. Why did God choose? Why did God bless me to be here? Because he sent me something. And I'm not guilting you at all. I don't have to guilt you because you're grown and you're going to do what you want to do. But when God sends somebody to give you the knowledge that you need to save your life, what the hell are you waiting for? That's it.
Well, praise be to Allah. Thank you, Brother Jay. And I will say to everybody, I'm always thankful again, any compliments that anybody gives me. But, the main reason I wanted to do this show tonight is so all of you could share with somebody that you may know that's going through something tough, that's going through some difficulty factor. We're living in a difficult time with this coronavirus and the fact that, life is not ever probably going to be what we consider normal again. But there's some people that are struggling. There's some people that are struggling that don't know what to do. There's some people that are struggling in the fact that they're in a medical system and they just never feel like they've been comforted. They never feel like they've been listened to. They never feel like they've been taken seriously. And they don't really believe that there's any future other than where they are or getting worse, or where they are and dying. That was what today was about. I pray that anybody that's listening, anybody that needs help, heard something today. Not necessarily that's going to bring you to me. That's not the point. The point is to do something different. If you can get inspired today and listen to all of my videos and it gets you where you need to be, I'm thankful. You don't ever have to call me. But something has to be done if you're in the shoes of how I just painted that picture. Because I know for sure that, Brother Jay's going to be honest and say he didn't necessarily believe the things I said at first. Sister Aaliyah, she didn't necessarily believe everything at first. But after they went through the process, there's nothing that anybody on this planet Earth can tell them nor me that we didn't experience what we experienced. And that's why there's no going back for me. I can't go back to prescribing medications. I can't go back to suggesting surgeries and take this and take that and go to this specialist or go see this person. I can't go back to that. Not when God has shown you a different way. There's only one way to go, and that's going forward and make it better and get as good as you can as an example and as good as you can to help everybody that you can to the best of your capabilities. But the work really is all in you. You got to make up your mind. In every single person that was on here tonight and every person that I've ever had a successful story, the biggest fight was right here. If you follow the things that I ask you to do, it's because you fought the fight here. Because a lot of people give up here. A lot of people believe something else here. And if you believe something else, when I come to you, bring you what I think it should be, there won't be any congruence. And that's not how we'll make progress. So that's what today's show is about. I hope that somebody listened, that somebody is inspired, and somebody's going to get to the work that it takes to get you healthy. So Jay, thank you, bro. We're about done for the day. And I pray that this was a worthwhile show, that my brothers and sisters got news that you can use. And I'm always thankful, bro. I appreciate you. I pray that you continue to stay strong, stay committed to your health while you're doing everything that God got you, taking you up to another stratosphere, bro. But let's keep doing what we do, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, brothers and sisters. And I pray that your healing is right around the corner, Doc. Give them the number, Doc, that they can call. Give them the number.
It's down there, 832-429-4576, y'all. And even if you've listened to this show and you're still not sure, brothers and sisters, I have multiple videos on multiple subjects. If you go and you find something that you're dealing with, I pretty much believe you'll probably be able to find a show that touches on that. So, this is not the last time we're going to do a Testimony Tuesday. Most of these people that you all heard tonight have been on a show before. We had horrible connection that night. Things didn't really work out. And so I'm glad that you all are able to hear people clearly, hear their testimonies. Some of you may need to come back and listen to it again, really hear what people are saying, because this is the truth. There's nobody here that got paid, nobody here that had to be influenced to come. Everybody wanted to come because they are interested in helping. They were appreciative for what happened to them, and they want to make sure that everybody and anybody else knows that they can go along this journey as well. Any closing remarks, Brother Jay? We're going to have to get up out of here.
Absolutely. I just want to tell people, you got a brother, you got a sister, you got a family member. I don't care, mother, father, grandparent, church member, co-worker. You know somebody that's dealing with a hell of a battle with their health. It's a phone call away. Help them. So if they go and they in the hereafter, it's going to always bother you, because you could have helped. You could have helped them. You could have helped them. If you're going through health issues right now, just talk to the man. Talk to the man. I'm telling you, fight yourself and talk to him. He's a gift. He's a gift from God. I tell you, he's a brother, but he's just a brother, and he'll tell you in a minute. But he has an extraordinary gift, and I thank you for your gift. I always told you, brother. I always told you, one day I'll be able to repay you in a sense. And I know you keep telling me, you don't owe me nothing, brother. You don't owe me nothing. That's God. You don't owe me nothing. But let me tell you something, man. I applaud you, because Dr. Akili, let me tell you something, brother. You have the choice that, guess what? You could go and feed your family and do Western medicine, and you can go get rich, brother. With what you have, you could go get really rich. I want you to realize that. This man could be a multi-millionaire playing golf, chilling on the golf course, chilling, drop top bins, doing all that stuff. But what is he doing? He's sitting here with you and I. He's sitting here with you and I trying to save our lives. Ain't nobody got to beg you to save your life. Call the man today. I wish you peace. I truly do. Love you, Doc.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Love you too, man. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in this evening. I always appreciate the regular soldiers that come on a regular basis. And even if this is your first time, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that sends me messages during the week through these vehicles and other vehicles. Those of you that email me, some people just reach out to me just to say thank you, just to say they appreciate you. You all just don't realize how much that energizes me and keeps me going. And I pray that I continue here on the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday to continue to bring you news that you can use, you can apply to your life and start making changes so that you can see that your health or your healing journey is a reality. So everybody remember, in this type of a world, especially during this plague and this time of pestilence and this time of disturbance, it's very difficult to have good health. So you got to work on your health hard every day. Read something, think about something, watch something, talk to somebody about health so that you can keep it on your mind, and your activity and your choices will be those of a healthy person. And you'll see the journey end in the way that you want it to be. And that is with good health, with longevity, and with a community of people around you that you love and love you. So again, thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.
Peace.